Music icon Debbie Harry is renowned for her daring fashion sense and significant impact on the world music industry. Nevertheless, she has experienced significant obstacles in her life behind the stage lights and spotlight, from severe gender stereotypes in the music industry to struggles with addiction. Are these tales, however, totally accurate? Or are they just unsubstantiated rumors that have become independent? Come along as we reveal Debbie Harry's hidden secrets. Did you know that Debbie Harry's life was filled with dark, family secrets and deep wounds from the day she was born? The very individuals who brought her into the world rejected her from the beginning. People in her immediate vicinity muttered that she was the cause of her parents' divorce. When the reality was revealed, what appeared to be a lovely tale of love between her father and mother swiftly collapsed. Her father already has 4 children of his own. He was unwilling to stay with his sweetheart because Debbie's birth was never part of his plan. Tension and heartache caused Debbie's parents' relationship to fall apart. Her mother, a gifted pianist, decided to completely withdraw from her daughter's life while her father went back to his birth family. Debbie was put in an orphanage at the age of 3 months. It wasn't until Debbie was adopted by a family with the last name Harry that her life started to stabilize. It wasn't until she reached 4 that the young child growing up in her new household realized she wasn't their biological child. She carried years of resentment and was astonished when the truth was revealed. She once vowed that she would never be able to forgive her biological parents, but eventually she started to change her mind. She started looking for her birth mother since she was intrigued about her background. During that voyage, Debbie learned her true identity, Angela Trimble, driven by a desire to transform her life. Angela, who was already accustomed to the name Debbie, by the time she graduated from high school, made the decision to move to New York City from her hometown. Early in the busy city, things were far from simple. She started out as a secretary at the BBC radio offices, but she was let go after barely a year. Unfazed, she worked as a waiter at Max's Kansas City before accepting a position as a Playboy bunny in New Jersey. Debbie didn't view that incident negatively, unlike what the general public believes. On the other hand, she felt appreciative of the period because it provided her self-assurance and an opportunity to succeed. She once said, "I always enjoyed dressing up, and that job didn't make me feel uncomfortable at all." But Debbie didn't want to stay in the limelight at Playboy. She made the decision to depart after 8 months in order to follow her longtime passion for music. She was always drawn to music and longed for the stage because she had sang in church choirs as a child. Debbie left that glitzy but shallow environment to become a backing vocalist for the folk rock group The Wind in the Willows. Despite the fact that the trio only put out 1 album before breaking up, it served as the initial step in her exciting musical career. A voyage packed with an unwavering will to survive and rise despite its origins in pain. I adore you so much, Dot. When Debbie Harry joined the band The Stilettos in 1973, it was a pivotal moment in her life. Not only did her singing career take off there, but it also signaled the beginning of a relationship that would drastically alter her life. Debbie met Chris Stein, a guitarist with a bohemian appearance and eyes that gleamed with creativity during rehearsals and concerts. The two soon fell in love. They developed into a flawlessly matched musical pair in addition to being a passionate couple off stage. They decided to break away from the Stilettos and start their own band because they thought it was time to forge their own route. To complete the band, Debbie and Chris signed bassist Gary Valentine and drummer Clem Burke. The Angel and the Snake, the band's original somewhat long moniker, was eventually altered to Blondie. The name was inspired by the weird males who would whistle and call out to Debbie because of her striking platinum blonde hair. Few people are aware that Debbie was a natural redhead. Over time, Blondie rose to prominence in New York's nightlife. However, an unexpected and far-off location, Australia, was the source of their first significant international breakthrough. After a music video from their debut album was shown on a local video program, Blondie's songs became popular throughout the entire nation in a matter of months. The album rose to number 75 in the UK and number 14 in Australia. Even though it wasn't a huge economic success, it was a significant musical turning point. Although their second album had greater potential, it was still insufficient to propel Blondie to international fame. The world didn't really take notice of them until their third album, Parallel Lines, was released in 1978. It was a truly magical CD. Blondie sold almost 2 million copies of the popular single, Heart of Glass, which made it to the top of the US Billboard charts for the first time. Heart of Glass stood out from the other artists of the day thanks to their unique blend of disco, rock, and new wave. Their fifth album, Auto-American, which included singles like The Tide is High and Rapture, was released in 1980. Success followed success. Notably, Rapture became the first rap song to ever reach the top of the US charts. A band led by a white female singer was an uncommon accomplishment at the time, particularly for However, Blondie abruptly announced their split in the height of their career, shocking fans everywhere. Many conjectured that the primary causes were internal conflicts and the pressures of celebrity, but the reality was far more nuanced. Debbie's partner and co-founder of the band, Chris Stein, started exhibiting symptoms of a severe health decline. He was unable to eat, lost weight quickly, and often passed out. At first, medical professionals suspected drug misuse, which was a prevalent problem among musicians at the time. However, they were forced to postpone their tour for The Hunter in 1982 as his condition deteriorated. It was a gloomy period. Chris was confined to bed and appeared to be in danger of dying. However, Debbie remained with him. She sacrificed everything to remain by his side throughout his most trying times, including her career, popularity, and even Blondie. Chris was identified with a rare autoimmune condition, not drug-related. Problems as first believed following rigorous testing. Chris gradually started to get well with a fresh course of treatment. A real miracle. But even if Chris managed to avoid death, Blondie had vanished. Even more devastating was the fact that Debbie and Chris's relationship was unable to recover to its former state. The enchantment of the 1970s and early 1980s had dissipated by the time the band was reunited in the 1990s. Newer names with distinct styles and contemporary tastes had now claimed their position on the musical map. Debbie Harry has never been alone throughout her life, even though she has never been married or had biological children. The renowned singer, who is 74 years old, resides in a peaceful New Jersey home with her 4 devoted dogs. That seemingly tranquil existence is the outcome of a protracted journey with many highs and lows, defined by defiance, but also profoundly influenced by times of suffering and rejuvenation. Legal paperwork and a wedding band never sealed the greatest love of Debbie's life. Chris Stein is the man who has supported her since Blondie's inception. They were a pair of exceptional performers who were in perfect harmony in both their personal and professional lives. However, there remained gloom in their relationship a spotlight. During their time together, they both battled addiction. Debbie put everything on hold to take care of Chris when he became severely sick, an expression of her devotion and unwavering affection. But as he got better, Chris decided to take a back seat. Debbie claims that Chris wanted to get her out of a relationship that could lead her back into addiction. It was not the source of their demise. It was a selfless deed. After 16 years together, they formally broke up in 1987, although they have stayed close friends ever since. Debbie never closed her heart as time went on. She still hopes for a relationship with genuine chemistry, which she feels is uncommon in today's environment, even if she is in her 70s. Or Debbie openly disclosed that she is seeing multiple married men in a recent interview. She claims that the number of single men is declining. Many are already married, and extramarital affairs are becoming more common. Instead of looking for a happy ending, she is opting to live authentically with her emotions and intuitions. Debbie has never allowed her authentic self to be imprisoned by conventional expectations. She disclosed that she had encounters with women and came out as gay in 2014 in her memoir, which was released in 2019. She did, however, also declare that her bisexual phase had finished, demonstrating her open and always changing personality. Debbie is more than just a free-loving woman. For a long time, she has been drawn to the concept of a powerful man, someone with a fighting spirit, and she previously stated that she had always aspired to be the perfect man in her own eyes. And in a field as brutal and male-dominated as the music industry, her power was fueled by that masculine-leaning ambition. There have always been terrifying turns in Debbie's life. Few people are aware that she was previously in a horrific scenario where it might have killed her. One night after a performance, she took a ride from an unknown man, whom she subsequently thought to be the notorious serial killer Ted Bundy. She discovered there were no door handles inside the automobile as soon as she got inside. She was able to roll down the window and get away when her survival instincts took over. For 15 years, the memory of that night replayed like a silent nightmare, haunting her with that terrifying experience. However, the tragedies in music didn't stop there. When Blondie's stardom was at its peak, a terrible financial choice left. Debbie bankrupt. Everything was taken by the IRS: her car, her house, her possessions, and even her favorite coat. She sadly remembered working non-stop for 7 years without taking a single holiday, only to have nothing at the end. Even though it was a severe blow, Debbie was too strong to be defeated. She grew stronger from the ashes. Debbie continued to pursue music after Blondie broke up. Comic book Right Side, I Can See Clearly, and 2 times Hit Today are just a few of the iconic singles she released after making the switch to film and starting a solo career. These songs signified more than simply an icon's comeback. They served as evidence of her unwavering determination and enduring skill. Debbie Harry's current estimated net worth is $30 million. However, her actual value goes considerably above that figure. It is found in her capacity to overcome hardship, lead a true life, create music, and encourage a whole generation of women to dream big, live freely, and love according to their own terms. I sincerely appreciate you viewing this entire video. In order to
ensure that you don't